It's mail time. Here are some tricks and tips for navigating your first mail shift as an office assistant. So you're scheduled for your first mail shift. This task may seem intimidating and overwhelming at first if you've never worked a mail shift before, but it's not as bad as it may seem. In fact, working the mail shift is easy as 1, 2, 3. Here are some easy guidelines to help you navigate the ins and outs of working your first mail shift as an OA. Let's begin by talking about campus mail. Campus mail is any mail that is exchanged without going through an exterior transportation source. Mainly, we receive our flyers through campus mail. At the beginning of your shift, you'll need to grab the outgoing campus mail from the bin located beneath the mailboxes in the cabinet. This will include any mail that residents have placed in the campus mail slot, as well as anything that was incorrectly mailed to Raney and is being forwarded to their current address. Once you have grabbed the mail, head to Mendoza House, and upon arrival, you will need to sort the outgoing mail into the appropriate slot. After you have sorted all of the outgoing mail, you will need to collect any mail that needs to come back to Raney House. In Mendoza, there will be 3 boxes from which you will collect the mail. Specifically, there are the Raney House mailbox, the mailbox for our hall director, and the mailbox for our assistant hall director. Once you have collected the mail from Mendoza and returned to the front desk, you must then sort the mail into the appropriate boxes. If there are any yellow campus mail envelopes, these are most likely flyers to be hung up in the building and will need to be distributed in RA mailboxes, which are located on the back counter by the window. Any other mail for residents or hall staff should be placed into their respective mailboxes. During your first mail shift, there are some certain things that you should keep in mind. First, it is extremely important to clock in before you head to Mendoza to pick up or drop off campus mail, so be sure to do this as you're grabbing the outgoing campus mail from the cabinet. And then, while you're sorting campus mail back in Raney, be sure to verify room numbers and resident names using StarRes. After you distribute items that were stored in yellow campus mail envelopes, be sure to place these empty envelopes in the drawer labeled campus mail envelopes or wherever your RM has designated. Finally, it is important to remember that you are not permitted to hang flyers that haven't been approved by the Office of Residence Life, so if somebody is attempting to do so, kindly let them know of our policy and forward questions to the RM. Now let's talk about paper mail. This is any mail that is small enough to fit into a resident's mailbox, which includes letters and magazines. Now there are many different ways to go about sorting and distributing paper mail, but perhaps the best way is to create 2 piles, one labeled with room numbers and one not labeled with room numbers. We can first distribute the mail that has room numbers on it. As you go to place this mail into the boxes, double check that the names on the printed mailbox labels match the names printed on the resident's mail. If the names match, go ahead and put the mail in the box. Otherwise, you'll need to put it in the pile with the numberless mail and verify the correct room number. Now that was the easy part. So what about mail with incorrect or no room numbers on it? Here's what you'll do. Start by typing the resident's name into StarRes to figure out their room number. If the resident lives in Raney House, place the mail into the proper mailbox, confirming again that the mailbox label matches the name on the mail. If the resident doesn't live in Raney but still lives on campus, cross out the current address and write the appropriate resident's hall name on the mail and place it in the campus mail bin. Sometimes the names that are printed on paper mail aren't readily available in StarRes. Here's what you'll do to address the issue. First, be sure that you change the entry status column in StarRes to include all records, as the student may have been a past resident who now lives off campus or in another building. If you locate the recipient but their entry status is history, cross out the address on the mail and update it to the address listed as their active address on StarRes. You can find this info by clicking their name on StarRes. If you are still unable to find the resident listed on StarRes after troubleshooting and communicating the issue with your resident manager, you'll likely need to UTF the piece of mail as long as it is non-junk. Junk mail includes magazines, coupons, and advertisements. But if you are unsure about whether a piece of mail is junk or not, it's best to UTF it just in case. To UTF a piece of mail, cross out the address listed on the mail, clearly write UTF on the mail, which stands for unable to forward, and place it into the UTF bin. It is important to note that once mail is in a resident's mailbox, it must only exit through the front where they use their combination. It is a federal offense to handle their mail from this point on, so if a resident is having trouble opening their mailbox, you can verify their identity using an HRC quiz or pictures from StarRes and giving them their combination. That concludes our first part of this training. In the second and final video, we will discuss procedures surrounding packages and wrap up our mail training with an interactive activity.
created using Powtoon.